Hi there guys. Right, at the moment I am dealing with various things. I've got a few things kind of going on, which mean that I'm struggling to focus for long periods of time. I'm only able to zone in on things for short periods. But anyway, that's by the by. You don't want to sort of know all the ins and outs of that side of things. But it does mean that I'm tending to undertake a lot of short projects, things that will just occupy my time for short periods of time, that it doesn't matter if I kind of veer off them. And on that note, I'm kind of baking and doing that kind of thing quite a bit to try and focus my time, and also to make sure I've got a reasonably varied diet going on. Anyway, quick recipe, and today's quick recipe is one of my favourites. It's banana loaf, and the great thing about this is it's essentially a cake, but because it's got banana in, it's healthy. So you can feel healthy while you're eating it. It's nice and quick and simple. You will need a mixer, a mixing bowl. You can do it by hand if you are some kind of masochist, but an electric mixer makes life easy. So 140 grams of butter, or in this case this is the cake butter stuff that you buy for baking. 140 grams of flour, 140 grams of caster sugar. I'm using golden caster sugar just for the flavour, because the brown sugar gives it a nice flavour. A teaspoon of baking powder, 2 eggs, and 2 ripe bananas. You'll notice one of those is considerably more ripe than the other, but they're both fairly ripe, so it's good. They'll balance each other out. And you'll also need a loaf tin with a tin liner. The tin liner is optional. Without the liner, you'll need to make sure you grease the tin very well. I think these are great. You buy a box of them, they're not that expensive, and they just make life so much easier, and clean up so much easier after. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees C. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, because I don't deal with Fahrenheit. But preheat your oven to 180 degrees C, and first thing we do is soften the butter, and 140 grams of butter, 140 grams of sugar, cream them together, and then add in the banana, the eggs, the flour and the baking powder, and mix it all up into a nice delightful mush. So rather than bore you with me mixing all that, I'll be back shortly with that mixed and ready to pour into the loaf tin. Quick recap on where we're at. We have put in the butter and sugar, creamed that together. We've put in 2 eggs with a little bit of flour. We've put in 2 mashed bananas, and at this point now it's a case of adding the baking powder, which I've just done, and then the remainder of the flour, a bit at a time, folding it into the mixture. So go ahead and fold all that in until we've got a nice incorporated mix. For those that aren't sure, if you want to be picky about this, by the way, you can sieve the flour in, but you don't have to. For those that aren't sure, folding is once around and once through the middle, once around, once through the middle. Alright, so that's ready to go into the tin. I'll just quickly recap on the ingredients. So it's 140 grams of butter, 140 grams of caster sugar, 2 eggs, 140 grams of flour, a teaspoon of baking powder, 2 ripe, very ripe mashed bananas. Mix the whole lot together into a thick cake batter. If you want to, you can throw in some walnuts or something like that. That goes quite nicely with it. And then it's just a case of throwing it into the loaf tin. Spread that about in the loaf tin, even it out as best you can. It's a fairly liquid cake batter, so it will level itself out to a good degree, but it doesn't hurt to give it a little bit of a hand there. And there we go, bang it in the oven, and 180 degrees C or 160 degrees C for a fan assisted oven, and check it after 30 minutes. Usual cake test, when you can insert a knife or a skewer into the middle and it comes out clean. It's cooked. One banana loaf, fresh out of the oven, and knife comes out clean. Just a slight hint of batter there, which is nice. So leave that now for 10 minutes to cool in the pan, and then turn that out and leave it to cool on a rack. So here we have the banana loaf following morning, and a cup of coffee and a slice of banana loaf. You can see it's a nice, dense but still very moist cake. What I could have done, you see it's actually a little bit stodgy at the bottom there. I should have remembered that my oven's not the best in the world, and when it says 160 degrees it actually means 180 degrees and so on. So I should have baked it a little bit hotter for a slightly shorter length of time, which is why it's collapsed a little bit, but it still tastes very, very good. As you can see, as I say, it's lovely, moist, dense cake dough, very banana-y flavour, very nice. So if you like bananas and you like cake, go ahead and make one up. It's a quick, easy recipe, and I hope you enjoy, and thank you for watching.